So TradingView 2021, I'm going to do a little tutorial. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell button, leave a like. Sorry for the echo. Basically, this room is still empty and it will be for another week or so because the carpet that I've got down is really thin underlay and there's no furniture behind me. So give or take a few weeks, it'll be sorted. Anyways, a lot's changed with TradingView. It's been a long time since I covered it and I'm changing my setup a little bit. I have the application on my left hand monitor, which I always keep on so I can see the chart all the time, and I'm going to be starting to use the browser version just for videos, right? Keep it nice and simple. But changes have happened. Now, by the way, this is not sponsored in any way, it's just a tool that I use and I get asked a lot of questions about, right? So we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive in terms of how it all works. Get it on the app. Personal recommendation because it's better, it runs better. So basically go to the bottom, go desktop app, works on Apple, Mac and whatnot. It is a paid for application. You can do it for free, but you are limited on your indicators because most people like indicators. It becomes a bit pricey. I think you can only get like one indicator or something like that. But I do have the premium version, which is awesome. Top tip, there's two top tips actually. Wait till Black Friday, which is coming around in a couple of months. You can get it pretty much 60% off on most plans. I think it's 40% off Pro, 50% off Pro Plus, and 60% off Premium. I always go for that one. But another little element you can do as well is if you sign up to the free trial, which I do believe they still have, if you then turn off your automatic renewal and just let it run down, usually about 3 or 4 days before the end of your trial term, they tend to offer a big annual discount anyway. It's a bit of a carrot basically, so it's pretty good that way. Anyways, what is it? TradingView is a tool for all financial markets, brokers and all kinds of data. Also has live streams, as you can see here. There's loads of stuff on here, the news, the lot, right? You can have cryptocurrency, you can have the foreign exchange, you can have obviously the indices, currency, you know, futures, bond, the lot, right? Relatively good. However, can be a little bit complicated for people, especially if you're new to trading, especially if you're new to investing, never mind trading. But at the same time, the information's there. There's community elements to it. So as I said before, people can post their ideas, they can post their scripts and stream, so you can watch a load of information. You got all the screeners here so you can see what is actually doing well. So for example here, crypto heat map, very simple tool. Woof. Really easy, right? You can put this anywhere you want. You can have this on a separate monitor somewhere if you so wish to, which sounds really silly, but you can just go, right, what is the market doing? Okay, shit's doing well today, happy days. You know, all that kind of elements to it makes life so much easier. And a lot of these features that I'm featuring now are relatively new. They've never really been, in my opinion, I've not used them much. They are relatively new. But if you're into the crypto market, for example, like I am, you go into the crypto screener when it loads, and basically you can put in your parameters of what you want to look at. So if you are looking for certain coins on certain exchange with certain parameters, whether it is based off an oscillator or if it's trend directional bias, whatever it may be, you can start looking for opportunities. Now the other thing is obviously the markets, right? So let's just go into the stock market here, top gainers for the day. Have a little look, right? You can see here all the top market elements here. And if we want to just go into the likes of Macy's as an example here, right? You can get all the information that you want. You can follow it if you like this stock. You can trade it, you can do whatever. You can see all the technicals, you can see who is ultimately doing well. And obviously the most important thing is the technical elements, which I've kind of just touched on a little bit below there, which is what the screener does, and the financials. So you can see the most up-to-date information of each individual stock. So income statements, stuff like that. A lot of this is all pulled from the same place which Yahoo get. So ultimately it's relatively up to date, but always check the facts first. With stock markets data, I always look to try and get 2 verifications. Certainly if I'm investing, it makes life much easier, but you can also see the upcoming income. All the information is there, right? It's very simple. Now, trading. You can join their partnership programs if you so wish to, if you want to go part of it. What these do, these essentially hook up to TradingView, so you can press the buttons on TradingView, hook up your exchange, and it works in that way. So that's it. Okay, I'm going to leave the chart till last. But the homepage, by the way, not to daunt you with stuff, it's all of what I've just said, but in very quick time. So you can see here all these ideas like edited picks, crypto ideas, you got the news here as well, Another thing is obviously to look at is obviously the watch list, which I will go on now. So when you go onto it, press the chart button. Now, this is my current chart right now. This is my trading chart, okay? A little bit different. To go along with it, you can get other ones. So if I go to load charts, I've got different ones. So I've got Crypto Mobster 2021 edition. This is, I believe, my investing one. Yep, it is my investing one. I added an RSI on there yesterday for yesterday's video when I was doing Luna, which I now need to remove. Hello. Other ones I've got random stuff, obviously from just playing around and stuff like that, messing about Hitman. Obviously random trading ones. But what I want to do in this video is to create a new chart, which I will do in a second. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea of what's here, all your information. Now, a lot of people don't like to use TradingView because obviously if you're trading on the likes of Binance or whatever it may be, they usually have TradingView API on there. So it's the same system. Why would you want to have two? Well, I understand the point, but if you are looking for a more paid establishment and also to save your charts, TradingView is really good, especially for the app on the go and figuring stuff out, but also watch lists. The watch list has been revamped a little bit. So you can see here, advanced view and make the list public is always important. Also, they've changed some elements down here with like the ticker and stuff like that, the description. If you want to make it look a little bit more classy, I prefer the ticker to be fair. But at the end of the day, the good thing with this is, and I've already mentioned it, is you've got an advanced view and they've changed it and made it much better. So you can see all the information of your watch list. This is more for investing more than anything because you can see here, as you can see, it's more in line for that. But if you are looking for a very, very simple advanced view of certain things, and if you've got a big watch list, it does make a big difference. But you can set it public now, which is a new feature. Obviously down here below, if I drag this up, you can get quick analysis basically of what your coin is doing. So if I go onto Matic, for example, it will give you all the information. Obviously, if I'm looking onto the fact of a coin or a certain stock or whatever it may be, you can get even more data, which is what this is for. So you can see here on this little tab here, you get all the news. All the news regarding Matic. Happy days. You can also get other information here, so obviously data, as you can see. But as you go through it, you can see other elements too, and earning, you know, if you're in the Forex market and stuff like that, it's relatively simple. But if you're in crypto, somewhat pointless. Anyways, let's talk about building a chart, okay? So for me, fundamentals are clearly obvious with what data you've got. And the fundamentals of any chart is layout for me. You want it to be neat and tidy, you want it to look good, you want it to be good. And I have different ones. I know people take the piss going, oh my God, you have so many charts. But realistically, I want to have a one totally different for investing, which, you know, uses less indicators, uses less tools, and is more visible for you guys to actually see what the difference is, certainly if I'm doing analysis on learning crypto. Now, the one thing I want to do here, I want to build a one from scratch, which is basically going to be YouTube. This is the default setting of what you get. Other elements to look at as well, if you don't like the dark mode, you can change it, or if you like the light mode, or you want to go back to dark mode, whatever, I'll show you how to do that in a second. If you just put in YouTube, happy days, that is my chart. Now, if you go to this bar here, you get all the information, but you can also have here the dark theme. You can toggle it on, or you can toggle it off. Oh wow, I prefer the dark mode. Never used to. My monitor's changed. I don't know if you know this, but I changed my monitor settings completely, and I've made it really flush, so it looks a lot better. Anyways, this is what your chart will look like on the most part. Very basic, very bland. Now, I personally get rid of the elements of the grid boxes. I like to change elements up here. I like to make these obviously stand out a bit more. I like to change around, but I'm going to stick to a darker background because all your tools and all your settings and your presets in terms of what you got in terms of Fibonacci, or your long or your short, will remain pretty much the same in terms of the same sort of, you know, layout throughout your whole trading view, right? So you don't want to have dark, you know, a white chart and then have it in cooperation with that, which will indicate that your indicator should be dark so you can see it. Whereas if you've got two, which is one's white and one's black, well, you're going to struggle, aren't you? Realistically, it's not going to look the same on both. Now, right click onto it and go through your settings, and essentially what you are looking to do is find out all the information that you want for your chart layouts. Now, obviously the first ones are the candles and stuff, but I always go to appearance first because I like to change the grids. I like to set them as off. Why? I just don't use them. People do, people can use them for support and resistance. Obviously you've got colors here, gradients personally, because if I went to do this, for example, Ooh, hello. I like to go solid. Simple as that. Solid is easy. I also like to make my numbers a bit smaller, so they look a bit, you know, just neater. And personally, it's for my eyes only, not yours. But in terms of YouTube, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. And again, similar sort of element with the line scales here. You can basically have it so you can have it really bright or not at all. Personally, I like to have it quite bright so it looks good. One element of this is very, very important in my eyes is the crosshair. If you're looking at your support and resistance, you want to be able to have this visible, incredibly visible, so you can put your pointer on it and go, right, cool, that is a level of support or resistance. However, don't go too mental on it. You don't want it to just stick out too bright, so make it a little bit less, you know, visible essentially. And that's essentially the basics of the appearance. Trading, you'll most likely miss off because you're not going to be doing it in here. Events, if you want to, you can have them on or off. But the main element to me is always this, you know, looking at this. I would rather have a lot of information on this right hand bar, which I'm looking at this, by the way. So here we go in terms of this. You can have percentages or you can have what the price is. Personally, the good thing. What I tend to have on here, and I always do, is the obvious. Countdown to the bar closing. Why? Because it's always good to know. If you're on different time frames and you cannot be bothered to work it out, it will tell you in hours, minutes, days, whatever it may be, and it makes life easier. Other things you can do, you can obviously have indicators on here as well. Personally, I don't. Average closing price, maybe not. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you how you do it. But the one thing to look at is obviously you can move all these around, you can change them, you can do all kinds of stuff with them, and you can make it very, very simple. Status line is up on this bit here. I prefer to have it as a ticker so it looks a bit neater. You can have open and closed markets, but that's pointless in my opinion. If you're trading stocks, it might be worth it if you're in a wrong country. You know, the opening, closing, highs and lows of a candle, you can have that, but personally I don't. And the changing bar, you'll know the percentage anyways on your watch list on the right hand side, so I tend to turn that off. Buy and sell buttons, yeah. Anyways, that's how I have it. You know, you can have your indicators on there. Personally, I hide my values as well on the indicators just because, well, there's no point. It clogs it up. You need to make it nice and neat. Now, the last bit. The last bit for the customization is the obvious one. Candle colors. And we need to build some candle colors, don't we? To make it a little bit different to all my other play sets. Now, I have a, you know, blue and white. I have a red and white. I like white. I like white to be on there. Now, usually what I tend to have, I'm on my other monitor right now looking, I tend to have my, let me just have a quick look. I tend to have white going up and red going down, or white going up and blue going down. So I'm going to stick to white on the going up part because I think it looks good within everything. But what I want to have overall is a totally different color that is going to fit the bill for a bearish candle. Makes it totally different, right? Makes it much better as well. So I don't know. I need to have a little think, and maybe we can try a few colors. Yellow could be a good one, a very, very interesting muddy, mustardy yellow. Could work very well. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how you feel. But this is a beautiful thing about it. You can actually play around with this quite a lot and you can figure it all out. What I want to do though, I want to remove that volume tag because I want to keep it nice and simple, nice and flush. Personally, not too keen on that. Maybe go a little bit darker into the orange or papaya sort of colours here. Another things you can do as well, you can change the borders of the wicks. That actually looks quite neat. You can change these to black if you wanted to, so you make the candles a little bit thinner and more obvious, but personally, I don't really like that. It doesn't look as good. So there's potential there for an orange and a white preset. But another thing you can do as well, as I mentioned, you can customize stuff, right? Go into the plus and you can absolutely knock yourself out and make whatever the hell you want. If you want to make a really, really weird color, you can. And this is the beautiful thing about it. Now, I've always fancied the look of a kind of an aquary color, which sounds a bit daft, but it may well pop quite nice, maybe, I don't know. That looks very, very interesting. Maybe a bit too much on the eye. Ooh, no. This is what I think with all this. It's quite fun to play around with it, but sometimes it can get pretty tedious. Purple, maybe like a purpley colour. That actually looks quite decent, to be fair. Ooh. You see how you can get lost with little colours and stuff like that, finding stuff out. Personally, I don't want to go too far away from the grain of what I've already got. As I said, you know, I want to keep it nice and fresh. And again, it's always up to you how you find it, and maybe even grey. I know it sounds rather weird going from random wonderful colours to a grey colour. It might be a better idea doing that in terms of everything else. Why is that important? Because I don't have to change anything else realistically, and it's important because it's got to transfer as well onto the eyes of a phone and onto onto the phone and stuff like that, so you can see it in more detail. But for me, I think that could work very, very well, but I may need to adapt certain things to it to make it kind of pop off a little bit more, or make it look a little bit more, outstanding in its field, essentially. Maybe that grey. Ooh, hello. Ooh, I don't know now. Do I go light or do I go grey? A lighter grey or a darker grey? I'm going to go with that. I think that looks quite sweet. Very, very simple in terms of branding. Keeps it very, very simple. But what I could do is I could change the wicks to make them a different colour. Other elements to look at: open and closing prices. I always like to have that on. It keeps it quite sane and simple. Not all the time. Some of them I don't have it on, but it's up to you. For me, I like to have it on, especially if I'm on YouTube, so I can see a point of reference. It makes life easy. And again, you can change this. You can change it to whatever the hell you want. Different colours too. But at the same time, it's entirely up to you. I'll turn it off for now though, just so it doesn't confuse people. But yeah, that's essentially how you kind of set up your chart. Really, really simple, really, really easy. Now again, as I say, all of these stay the same. You can set your presets for these. So if I wanted to make a new one for this, for just YouTube, right? You just make a new one, right? You just go, right, okay, cool. So if I wanted to make it like grey like that, just nice and simple, I can go save as and go UT, right? So it keeps it nice and simple. It's in line with the colours and the chart in colours, which looks nice. If I wanted to then add another one randomly, okay, just another little box here, which is a rectangle, and I wanted to use a different template, I can. So I've got different ones. I've got 618, which is gold. I've got an invest by, which is red. I've got a main one for my trading, which is like a bluey colour. And I've got possible longs and possible shorts, which I don't tend to use anyways. They're just kind of there just as it is. But if I wanted to go UT and thinking, right, moving forward, if my videos are all going to look the same and all going to look like this, happy days, right? So that's the boxes. To find that, go to the right hand side and you go onto the third one down, technically below the obvious cross, into basically the first one is a brush. So when you go under 40, it'll look like that as a brush. And then you got all these little drawing tools. So you got a brush where you can do a squiggle. You've got the rectangle. Now if you press the star button, you can have a favorite bar on the bottom there. Makes life easy. Now trend lines and lines and stuff like that, basically on there. I don't tend to use much of these other than the arrows and the odd tread line here and there. And I have mine yellow, so it stands out like a donkey's dick, right? So keep it simple. There's no point changing colours on those because I like to have them all the same. This one is the most important element, is obviously the Fibonacci. Again, I have it grey because it pops off nicely with the tooling sets for all my background. So if I'm on the trading or if I'm on investing, it pops off quite nice. It makes it easy. Now, if you want to customize any of these, by the way, just click on them and double click, or press the arrow button now. And you can obviously customize them to your heart's content. Again, it's the same for everything. Every single thing that you can do on TradingView, you can customize it by the same way. Just press the little clock and you can show all kinds of information. You can extend it to the other side. You can show the price ranges on them. So as you can see there, personally, I like to just have it as a line, obviously, because it's just a trend line. But you can go balls deep with this platform. It's ridiculous. Other things to look at, the obvious. Hello. You can do text and you can customize that to your heart's content as well. Again, you can change it, you can do text wrap, you can do borders on it, you can do backgrounds, you can do whatever the hell you want. And that's a beautiful thing with it. Moving down to the patterns, if you wanted to use Elliott Wave or if you want to use head and shoulder patterns or whatever it may be, you can. And the most important thing for me is risk reward, your forecasting, your price analysis, your data. So if you wanted to find out on data analysis, how many days is it from there to there? Well, guess what? It's 63 days. And you can change the customization of this. I've got mine green at the moment because I don't tend to use it. So maybe if I wanted to change this, I can go, well, you know what? Why not just have it grey with the rest of the market? And I can change the line to a white and then it will look like that. It will be in line with it very, very quickly. So it's entirely up to you how you want to do this. For me personally, it's entirely, it's personal preference. Looking to go short at this point here, I like to have mine red and red and green, so it looks kind of obvious. It's a default setting. It's nice and easy. And that's essentially where we're at right now in terms of everything. There's not much really to go on other than the obvious here is adding indicators, which I will go on to in a second. If you wanted to go even further and even deeper, you've obviously got the element of, you can put your little emojis, but then you got magnet tool here, which is relatively good. If you're looking to do Fibonacci and you're a bit rubbish, or your mouse is crap and you want to magnetize it, you can. Now, we'll go on to indicators. Press on the indicator button here, and obviously you got your favorites. You got your own little mess about ones if you've done any, but also the built-in. These are the built-in ones, right? The built-in ones are the most obvious. If you wanted to put a Bollinger Band on here, if you want to put RSI on here, divergence indicators, if you wanted to put on, I don't know, whatever. There's always new ones. MA ribbons, for example, here. Hello. It'll do it all for you, right? You obviously then need to set it up and see what the inputs are. So you can see here 20 moving average, the 50 moving average, 100 and the 200. If you're lazy and you want to just put the MA ribbon on there, well, there you go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you wanted to put on, for example, here, I don't know, let's have a little look. What have we got? Volume oscillator. You can. At the bottom there. Boom. And if you wanted to customize it, you can. Other top indicators that you can obviously use if you wanted to is obviously the MACD, for example, here. And again, similar sort of ilk. It will just build it on for you. Default setting, so you can trade on that as a default. If you wanted to change your settings, you can. You can see here, they've changed the style on it, so it looks a lot better. And yeah, trading view in my eyes is getting bigger, better, faster. It's just becoming a much better beast these days. So that's the indicators. Again, if you're trading stocks, press on the financials. It'll give you all the information in one button click. Templates, all kinds of stuff, but alerts as well is key. The way I tend to do alerts is I tend to right click onto the chart, find an alert. So if I'm, say for example, if you're doing an indicator, if you wanted to do the RSI in an overbought or an oversold situation, or for example here, or a stochastic, or if there's a crossover in a moving average, just double click on the indicator and you basically go onto the alert. Again, same sort of thing here. If I wanted to do this, if I wanted to put an alert around this point here, you right click, go onto it, and you go into entering a channel, and then you put the price in. So if between 160 and 155, for example, here, it will give you some sort of an alert prompt within those two lines that whenever the price goes within it, it will go, oh, by the way, the price is in there. Cool, happy days. It's entirely up to you how you want to do it, right? Again, you are restricted though in terms of what alerts you can do depending on what price you've got, but it's all about playing around. So if you wanted to find certain elements, so if you go to add alert again, you got all kinds of situations. When you go into this point here and you got indicators, it will go to a value of the indicator. So if certain things have happened on an indicator, for example, if the histogram has moved a certain percentage or whatever, right? Something as simple as that, so you get prompted. But I believe that is pretty much it, okay? If you wanted to find new stuff, if you wanted to add stuff to your watch list, if you wanted to find new assets, all your information's here. So if I obviously go, if I go on to, bear with me, remove that one, obviously. Foreign exchange, right? Cool. Happy days. All here for you. CFD. Oh, sorry. It would help if I took out things. So obviously you can see here gold, the US 30, stock market, Tesla, Apple. Let's have a look at Tesla. Cool. You can get all the information here. Absolutely loads of it. Anyways, long video, I know, but it's a very, very simple tutorial about how to use TradingView. It's been nice to do actually. So I'll see you later.